All righty, guys. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Obviously, not the start that we wanted for the season against Fresno State, and really a tale of two halves, to be honest with you. Anytime you're on the road, you know that you're going to have a tough battle, especially at Fresno State. Great venue. It was very electric that night. And we did the things that we needed to do in the first half, being able to create turnovers, be able to have in the third down efficiency that you needed to be able to sustain drives, and found a way to be up at halftime 14-13. Unfortunately, did not get that done in the second half and lost the battle of field position, lost the battle of third downs, going 0 for 5 on third downs offensively in the second half. While, overall in the game, I thought Fresno State did a really nice job of 6 of 10 for the game, sustaining drives, and especially in the second half where they did a nice job of running the football. We're in Oxnard right now preparing for USC. Very thankful to Dr. Marrero as well as Chris Davis for allowing us not to make that long travel back and having to come back out here and to have this experience for our kids. We'll be training here all the way till Friday, and then we'll make the trek down to Los Angeles, where we get the unbelievable opportunity to walk into one of the great places of history, to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and play a really, really good USC football team. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have.
Thanks, Coach. Guys, make sure you unmute yourself for the question and then remute yourself when you're done.
Coach, it's Josh Aubrey. In the preseason, you were very high on the defense, especially the line and the linebacker core. Like on the initial drive, things didn't go very well. Kind of bend but not break the rest of the half. Held them to a couple field goals, and then the second half, things kind of fell apart. Tackling looked pretty bad, especially in the second half. It didn't look like they were wrapping up. What do you think is fixable, and what's your assessment Saturday from a defensive standpoint?
Yeah, Josh, I think, just being really honest, as you watch that tape, 3 things happened in the run game specifically. One, and a lot of times it happens in game 1, and it's really important to improve from game 1 to game 2. One was our alignment. We had some alignment busts with that run game. We had some missed assignments that cost us, and then we put ourselves in positions to make plays, and like you said, we missed tackles. That created those 3rd and 1 to 5s that allowed them to go 6 for 10 and sustain drives. Fortunately, in the first half, we were able to find ways to, get the ball. We created the 3 turnovers that were huge for us in being able to sustain that lead. Unfortunately, we did not do that in the second half. But I think what is fixable is being able to line up correctly, being able to do our assignment on a consistent basis. And then when we're in that one-on-one tackling position, which, we had about a half dozen times that the ball could have been downed right there and we missed the tackle. Those are the things that have got to get corrected from week 1 to week 2 so we can produce some 3rd and long situations rather than those 3rd and manageable.
Hey, Coach, this also goes into USC and what they were able to do. 233 yards on the ground, dispersed between, it looks like 7 backs, but primarily 4. What do you see from the Trojans, especially from the run game? Is that something you guys are really going to have to dial in on?
Yeah, having watched the cut-ups from last year over the summer and then watching last week's team, this is a different football team than last year. I think it is a better personnel football team. Obviously, you're dealing with one of the more brilliant minds in college football, in Coach Riley, and he's always done a great job. I've had the opportunity to be around the Lane Kiffins and the Steve Sarkisians, and Coach Riley is one of those guys that he gets the best players the ball, and he finds ways to be able to put them out in space, and he did that last week to be able to get his playmakers the opportunities in one-on-one situations, whether it was run game, whether it was pass game. It was just really impressive. I think anytime that you put 73 points on the board, you're doing things right, and he did a great masterful job last week of taking his playmakers and making sure that they distributed the ball to them, and so they're an impressive group. We've got a huge challenge this week against them, and we'll try to go put our best foot forward.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the second half offensively. I know you're trying to leave there healthy at a certain point the game's out of reach, but when you only have 75 yards in the second half, does that concern you at all moving forward?
Well, like I said earlier, Patrick, it was really a tale of two halves. I thought we did the things in the first half to create some third and manageables, and then you convert. You go 4 of 6. On third down, which is a 67% ratio, and you're really doing the things that are needed on a limited drive night. You knew it was going to be somewhere between 9 to 10 drive opportunities based on the offense that we were playing against, and you had to make the most of it. And so we were able to get 2 long drives. Our field position was not great in this game. We averaged, I think, the 20-yard line in the first half, 21-yard line in the second half, compared to their 40-yard line in the first half and 30 in the second half. So we did the things on the early downs that I thought were needed against a team that showed a lot of exotic pressures on third downs, and we sustained drives. And you come out in the second half, and if you go back and watch the first and second down efficiency, that's why you went 0 for 5. We had a lot of second and 10s, had a couple penalties that set us back, had some negative yardage plays, and now all of a sudden against that football team, we're having to dump the ball down on a 3rd and 10, and it gets 6 yards, 7 yards, and you're having to punt the football. And we go 0 for 5 against a group that we needed to hold the ball more offensively against. And so this was a team loss. Our guys know that. I thought Fresno beat us in all 3 phases, just being real. I thought they beat us offensively, defensively, and in field position and special teams. And now our job is to do what they did, is to be able to respond from game 1 to game 2 and be able to fix the things that you have in opening game losses on the road, and unfortunately we're here working on those right now in Oxnard, and hopefully we'll have a better foot forward in game 2 and correct those things.
Ryan, you can go ahead. I see your hand raised.
It's a long time no see. It's such a unique situation.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to feel like coming down that tunnel in the Coliseum?
Yeah. Well, Ryan, good to see you, my friend. Been a while, man. Hope you're doing well. It is special. I was talking to Ryan Carty a little bit ago and visiting with him, and he asked that question. And I think, Ryan, one of the more special things for me is being able to bring our team out here. This is the first time for our university ever to step foot in this California and compete as a football team. It's our first time playing a California team, both in Fresno and USC. And I've got a couple guys that have never been on a plane before, let alone get to come out to California and be a part of this and stay in Dallas Cowboys training facility and have a chance to walk into such a special place like, the Coliseum and see that. So I'm most excited for them, to be honest with you, to have this experience, to have this college experience. Personally, it's going to be special for me. Yeah, definitely. There's 12 years of relationships. I have so much gratitude for having been a Trojan, for a decade plus, and the way the Trojan family was to me and my family and took care of us. Obviously, a lot of relationships when you're at a place over a decade, people that I look forward to hugging their necks on Friday night, and then you got to wake up Saturday and you got to go play a game. But yeah, this is especially for my family. My son still lives in Southern California. My daughter's flying out from Washington, D.C. To be a part of this. My own son, who was elementary school watching Matt Barkley and Cody Kessler and Sam Darnold and the boys. Now he's the backup quarterback here, and he's going to walk into the Coliseum wearing the blue and white as an Eagle. That makes me have goosebumps right now. So, it's unique. It's special. But you also playing a team that put up 73 last week, and you got to go do your job at a very high level to be able to compete with a really, really good football team. So it's twofold. It's special on the personal level. It's special to be able to bring our football team on a very unique experience for them, and to see their faces and to see how much they're enjoying this is pretty neat.
Fresno State had a rough week 0
Yeah.
and was able to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
I know I covered the team up there. It's a tough place to play, but is it one of those things where just getting the first game out of the way, you feel like, hey, stay on this coast, there's a good opportunity to kind of bounce back because you already have at least you have a game under your belt now.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to visit with the team last night, and really, I've always thought adversity is a blessing, especially early on. We've got a really tough conference road game schedule this year, going to App State and going to Marshall, going to Arkansas State. Having the opportunity to be in some really tough venues, JMU coming up, and this having a chance to be at Fresno, which was a great crowd, having a chance to go to a place like the Coliseum is only going to make us stronger and more galvanized for the rest of our season. As you see across the board, in week one, it's not really the teams that win games. It's the mistakes that you make, and whoever makes the most mistakes is usually losing the game, and that was us last week. I thought that Fresno did a really nice job of going from the Kansas game where they made some mistakes to really saying, okay, this is what we're going to do offensively to limit mistakes. This is what we're going to do defensively. And they played a better game, and they improved from week one to week two, and that's what we've got to do. I see the want to in our kids' eyes. They know that this is a special opportunity being on the West Coast. It doesn't happen very often for us, so they're going to work hard this week to try to make those improvements and go have a better week two.
Coach, one thing I've noticed is how much water you got these guys drinking. It's a different heat out here. Talk about, keeping those guys hydrated, because it's a little different than back home.
Yeah, anytime you have a long travel, Frank, you are going to lose water weight. And then, at game time, it was about 100 degrees in Fresno. So, that not only the travel, but the style of game that was played on Saturday night, and with that heat, obviously there's body recovery. I mean, we're pouring gallons at a time of water down our guys. A little bit different temperature change. In Oxnard, it's about 20 degrees cooler down here. It'll be a little bit warmer once we get down to Los Angeles, but it's really the recovery of not only a physical game that we played in Fresno, a hot game that we played in Fresno, but also the travel. We're trying to catch back up, and I can't thank Dr. Marrero and Chris Davis enough. If we would have had to gone back and did this all over again, I think it not only hurts you for game two, but it probably hurts you for game 3 and 4 also. So to be able to make this investment and stay in the state of California is huge for our football team.
You guys are trying to make this facility Statesboro West, so to speak. You're trying to keep this as normal game week as possible. Talk about that.
Yeah, Oxnard's a great town. It's the reason that, when my dad was coach for the Raiders, they came up here for training camp, and then when they went to Oakland, Dallas, the Cowboys took it over. And so this facility knows how to function with a team on a daily basis. They've done an immense job. You see the Cowboy jerseys up in the lobby of all the years that they've been here. There's a reason that Mr. Jones brings them out here. It's a town that, and I wanted to be able to give our team a relaxed setting. It's a smaller town. It's like Statesboro. You can go out if they want to go out and get in and out burger or go see the ocean. I want them to have that opportunity. We are having curfew at 10 o'clock at night. We are still in school, so we're doing our school obligations in the morning. We're practicing in the afternoon. So there's not a ton of time, but I do want them to be able to, if they want to see the town, that they can go see it. And they're pros. These kids are 3rd, 4th, 5th year guys that have managed their business extremely well, and they know how important and how special this next opportunity is. So they're handling it like pros.
Coach, get back to the last week's game again, and the adjustments that you can make going against a very tough USC team on offense. You mentioned trying to stay away from 3rd and longs. That means trying to get some yards on 1st and 2nd. The week before against Kansas, Fresno gave up almost 8 yards a carry. You guys struggled to get those yardage, especially in the second half. Does that start up front? Do you feel like JC did a good job of making the right reads? What do you feel like you have to do on offense differently? I know you want to get away from the 3rd and longs, but you also have a lot of weapons you talked about, trying to stretch the field. Is that something you can do early on in in the down?
Yeah, Josh, good question, man. I thought with the top two backs, I mean, one averaged 5 yards a carry, the other averaged 4.6 a carry in that game. When you look back at the second half, we threw the ball on some early downs and didn't hook up, and it created 2nd and 10. I thought overall JC's performance going 17 and 27, he protected the ball well. I mean, we went 3 turnovers to only 1 turnover, and really you look at his interceptions, bad fortune for him. He really threw the ball where it was supposed to go. It was a bang play. I thought there could have been a pass interference on that. The referee did not feel that way, but it bounces off the hands of a receiver, and it goes to the next guy. He went to the right place with the ball. Could have been a little bit more accurate on some of the early downs in the second half. I know there's a couple that he would have loved to have back, but his overall maturity of that game and his poise in that game was so much different, Josh, than this time of year last year. You could see it in his eyes, you could see it in his demeanor all the way through. And I thought it was some really positive moments in that game, especially with some of the down the field throws. Hooking up with Danley Cobb down the boundary, the situation of being able to see one of the few man-on-man opportunities that we got in the game with Cam Brown being able to motion over, create a stack, and caused a little bit of confusion between the two DBs. He recognized that and made a good hit. If there's one area of growth for us, whether it's in the run game of continue to average with those two backs 4.5, 5 yards a carry, or whether it's hooking up on early downs on some of our quick game stuff, we need to do a better job. Didn't hit any of our specials. We've always had a good mix of creating some special plays, and we didn't hit on those. They actually created some negative yardage plays for us that got us behind, and then the other having 2 penalties that set us back also. It's just one of those nights where you looked up and 2nd and long, it seemed like the entire second half. So where can we get better is your question. It's the efficiency on first down, just being real with you.
Hey, Coach, speaking with Jacob Ferguson last week, he took pride in being one of the leaders there on the deep front to, say, hey, it's going to start with us on the defense side of things. Obviously, things didn't go out the way that you planned in week 1. What are you seeing then, expanded upon that, what are you seeing or hearing specifically from your captains to take over in a time like this to say, hey, we got to get back on track?
Yeah, Zach, I immediately felt it right after the game with our leadership saying, Coach, we got this, don't worry about it. And it wasn't you could see that they're disappointed, but it wasn't like they were down. It was like, hey, we're ready to go fix this. It was more of like, hey, I got a sense of urgency to get this fixed so we can be better next game. And even last night, having a chance to watch them, and I think that's what's really neat about this situation right now is we're facing a little bit of adversity after game 1, and we're not in Statesboro. We're not broken up into our separate apartments or separate areas. We're on top of each other right now, and this is a really good bonding opportunity for us also as a team, and you can see that. You can see that in our first 24 hours here, and so that leadership is able to spread around and be able to visit with guys, and it's been neat to see. It'd be neat to see. I know this team. This is a team that has always been a great response football team. It's a team that has great leadership, and I know they'll approach it the right way this week. They already have started that. So I look forward to hopefully getting a huge jump better from game 1 to game 2, and I know that leadership of those guys will be critical for that.
And Coach, I know that obviously with your experience here at USC, you know the importance of having a rowdy home crowd of 77,000 that they're going to experience. What's that? What are you guys doing in practice? Is there more, pumping crowd noise? But you guys had 15,000 more obviously in Fresno, and now you're going to go just about double that this week.
Yeah, definitely. We worked on that constantly in Statesboro, Georgia. We'll continue to work it. I thought that for the most part, the kids handled it well, especially in some critical situations, especially in the first half. I thought they handled it extremely well. So the biggest thing is when you walk into the Coliseum, it's such a place of history and tradition and honor that when you walk in there, you got to get over this kind of the shock and awe of it a little bit. And so we're actually going down there on Friday to just to walk the stadium and let them feel what it's like, because you're walking in a place that has held Olympics, World Series, Super Bowls. Pope has blessed Mass there. President has addressed the nation there. All the national championships, all the great players. You see the peristyle, and you need to get that feeling, that shock and awe out. I remember being a position coach and a coordinator, then a head coach, and watching teams walk down that tunnel, and you just see their mouth drop the first time that they see it, and you had a leg up on them right from the get-go. So I think just getting comfortable in the surroundings is important. Hopefully we're going to get that opportunity on Friday, and then you got to put 80,000 in there the next day and be able to handle that. So yes, we constantly use the noise on these style of games. Fortunately we've been in some of these games in the past. Some of the older guys have, of being out of Nebraska, out of Wisconsin, having a large crowd that is loud and being able to function. So we work tirelessly on it, and hopefully it'll carry over to this Saturday.
What you feel like happened offensively, especially there in the second half when you guys really struggled?
Yeah, I think us not being efficient on first down really hindered our play, and also being a third and long all night. It's tough being a third and long, especially with the defense like Fresno. They like to do all that walk up and drop out stuff. It's tough as a play caller, it's tough as a quarterback, and especially an O-lineman. So being more efficient on first down, I think, will help us in the long run.
What does that look like? What do you feel like has to happen? I mean, I know it's easy to say you have to be more efficient. Was that start up front? Is that with you? Is that the running backs?
I think it just starts with execution all around. I believe it does start with me because I am the quarterback. I got to play better. I know that. And I think it just comes down to execution.
Not your typical road trip to start the year, 2 straight games, over 2,000 miles away. What has this experience been like so far?
Yeah, it's been a really cool experience. Obviously, we're going through some adversity right now, which I think is going to help us in the long run because we have some tough games on the road this year. So I'm glad that we're going through it now. It's kind of a wake-up call for our team, I believe. And I trust that we're going to do the right thing. We're going to work hard. We're going to go back to work and be better next week.
JC, you talk about the adversity that this team is facing. It's just one game, plenty more ahead. But I think one of the most interesting things being on the road with you guys is hearing you all already talk post-game on Saturday, the next morning, and all the way here into Oxnard. Talk about that team chemistry that has already turned the page and said, this will not happen again.
Yeah, so after the game in the locker room, we just all kind of came together and said this is the time where we can't be separate. We all have to come together. Obviously, we're in California for 10 days, so we're all going to be with each other, so it's going to be easier getting together and stuff. But this is the time where we need to, lock arms and really practice hard and go to war together.
A lot of question marks have been had and have been asked over the last few days about the defense. We'll hear from Brandon Tyson here in a minute. Talk about him, Brendan Harrington, the impact that they have had on the defensive side of the ball and the leadership they've brought to this team. Yeah,
I feel like they've done a great job. We call them the 1-2 punch. It's tough going against them in practice, and they just lead the defense so well. So I'm happy for them.
What have you seen from USC breaking down the film?
Yeah, they've got some guys. We're obviously going to have to scheme them up, really just kind of do our thing, not try to be too much, not try to be Superman or anything. Just get the ball to the playmakers in space and let them work.
USC scored 70 points last week. There's a good chance you guys are going to have to try to keep serve offensively. What do you feel like? Do you guys feel that pressure of we have really got to score some points as opposed to last week?
Yeah, I think being able to keep the defense off the field. Last week they were on the field for 38 minutes, and obviously that's not what we want. We want to control the ball. and it starts with the offense and executing on first down, like I said earlier. And I think that just falls on just flat out execution because the plays were there. It's just like one or two little misassignments that really hindered us.
JC, I want to ask about Oxnard. How's the Cowboys training facility? Do you have roommates keeping the lay of the land?
Yeah, it's been super cool so far. We haven't been to the Cowboys facility yet. Today's technically our Monday off day. We're kind of just game planning today. But we're in like this like little compound right now with separate town housing, I guess. So my roommate's Chance Carroll. We kind of got like a 2-bedroom apartment deal, so it's pretty cool.
Have you set up a chores list, made any living arrangements? I mean, what's it like having 9 days on the road at the beginning of the year with your brothers?
I think it's awesome because we're all around each other all the time, and we're all, breaking bread, hanging out with each other. Don't really have any plans right now. I think some guys are going to the beach for a little bit, but, I'm going to be sitting with the coaches, getting a head start on the game plan.
I want to ask you about your head coach. Obviously, you're returning to a place that he spent quite a lot of time. He puts a lot of effort and care into you guys, and this is a chance to repay it. I know every game is important. You want to win every game, but does it have a little extra oomph trying to get this one done for Clay Helton?
I believe so. I mean, I don't think he'd ever say that, but we obviously just want to win every game. He does so much for us, and we just want to pay back him in every way that we can because he's so good to us, and we love playing for him.
What did seeing the defense force 3 first-half turnovers do for your offense?
Yeah, it gave us opportunity to go up the score. We didn't really help them out with 2 of the turnovers. We didn't get good drives going. I think we had 3 and outs. They were all backed up, but we still got to get the ball out and kind of give them a break.
I've talked preseason about the defensive line and the linebacker core being the strengths of the team. Saturday, it seemed like there were a lot of missed assignments, a lot of missed tackles. What do you attribute those kind of things to, and are those things you feel like you guys can fix?
Well, I think it's just a lack of execution. We definitely had a lot of misassignments, misalignments, as Coach mentioned before, and all of that is very fixable, especially through film and throughout the week, especially after you get that first game kind of out the way.
You guys talk after the game about what happened and holding each other accountable?
Most definitely. Like I said, it just came down to execution. We had a really solid game plan, and especially in the first half, as you can see, like that's who we are, is the first half team. Second half, I feel like we kind of just let our guard down a little bit, and you see the result of that.
What do you think having a game like this and seeing the tale of 2 halves is going to do for you guys mentally? Know that you can't take one snap off, especially when you're facing that dynamic offense like USC.
I think it's definitely a motivational piece, especially if you look at there's a real big difference between the first half and the second half on film. Just moving forward, we know that we got to be that first half team throughout the whole entire game.
Brandon, since the moment you stepped on campus, this team has looked at you as a leader, and while you may not have a C on your chest, you are certainly still a captain of this team. How important is it and special is it for the fact that this whole team looks up to you and leans on you, whether on the field or off?
It's very special to me. That's something as a linebacker and as a leader of the man in general that I take very, very hard. And I love that feeling of people looking up and feeling like they can rely on me. And that just makes me go harder for them.
Had you had an interception back on Saturday? How'd that feel like to get that one under your belt?
It felt really good to start it off.
Talk about what you've seen from the USC offense. Definitely good. What else have you guys seen?
Yeah, they're definitely a talented group. Up front, they look pretty solid. Especially the right guard. I like the way he plays a lot. It look like they play hard, and we just got to get to it.
Any other questions for Brandon?
Brandon, just how's the team holding up? I mean, you guys went into a game that you I know you thought you could win. I know you probably try to stay away from social media, but I know it has to get through somewhat. How's the team holding up after something like what happened Saturday?
The team is holding up really well. As Coach Helton said earlier, just the energy that we have back now, and we all realize that wasn't us, what we put on film. And again, it goes back to the first half versus the second half. That first half team is who we are, so that's what we're going to keep continuing to be. And it's just a bounce back week for us, and we welcome that adversity.